Abuja, Nigeria. I'm Khadija Oluwatoyin. This week we're going to be having a topic that touches all. Yes, I said that because it's price control. We shall be taking a look at price control in the face of the inflation, perceived inflation in Nigeria today, especially when we talk about the food commodity, prices of food commodity in Nigeria. To discuss this with us as a guest, in-house economist in the studio. But we shall go on a quick break. When we return, we will bring you, our guests studio. Price control measures are government-mandated minimum or maximum prices set for specific goods and services. Price control is put in place to manage the affordability of goods and services in the market. Minimums are called price floors, while the maximums are called price ceilings. These are two types of price control: price floor and price ceiling in Nigeria. The current price control attempt in Nigeria began on May 27, 1970. The idea was to peg down the prices of articles of trade like cement, beer, milk, etc., and not the basic foodstuff. The prices of these articles were high because of increasing demand which supply could not cope with. While the price control policy has not expressively been repealed, the FCCPA is at present the principal law regulating all matters relating to competing and consumer protection in Nigeria and cover all matters concerning regulation of prices of consumer goods commodities in Nigeria. Price control measures are government-mandated minimum or maximum prices set for specific goods and services. Price control is put in place to manage the affordability of goods and services in the market. Minimums are called price floors while maximum are called price ceilings, and these are the two types of price control in Nigeria presently. The current price control attempt was done in May 27, 1970. The idea was to peg down the prices of articles of trade like cement, beer, milk, and not the basic foodstuff. The prices of these articles are high because of increasing demand which supply could not cope with as at then. While the price control has not been expressly repealed, the FCCPA is at present the principal law regulating all matters relating to competition and consumer protection in Nigeria, and it covers all matters concerning the regulation of prices of consumer goods commodities in Nigeria. Price controls are designed to achieve social objectives such as lowering costs for people in low incomes. In oil-rich countries, administered prices for fuel balance the budgets of power and water utilities that also have prices of their products controlled. However, the objectives of price control are to prevent the exploitation of consumers by producers, to avoid or control inflation, to help low-income earners, that is, minimum wage earners, to control the profit of companies, especially monopolists. It is in this base of evaluation the price of the finished goods, and most companies apply this method to calculate the cost of the product. Under this category, the price is determined on the base of market research. Welcome back. It's still the program Agric, and like I said, we shall be talking about price control. Our guest to discuss this with us is Mr. Gabriel. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you for having me.
I know sometime on this program we talked about price control, not knowing that so much was said when prices of commodity were coming up gradually, and then looking at what it is now today, with a bag of rice going for almost 105,000 naira. Some kind of one is 93,000, depend on the quality, even for Nigerian rice that you want to buy. Do you think, I will always ask every time, is there nothing that can be done in bringing this price thing together? You buy something on 10 a.m. and before you're returning by, for example, we have a market that is it's an everyday market, but runs into sometimes local market days for every five days. If you go to buy tomatoes, for example, when the trailers bring them in the morning, you may buy a very small basket of tomato, example, maybe 20,000 naira, like I bought some 3 weeks ago. By the time you're going there at noon, boom, the price
has changed.
sometimes you wonder, is it not the same tomatoes I bought 20,000 naira? Because what they'll put to be almost double the amount. That yes, we understand that these people now buy from the dealers and then will have to resell. But coming to put almost above the price is somehow absurd. What can we do?
Actually, the issue of price control has been a topical issue, even in this present administration. Although the administration has said that for one reason or the other, they cannot enforce price control. But I still believe that a measure of price control needs to be in place because of attitude of traders and marketers in the country. 4 or 5 years ago, you can safely say that when you buy a particular product, a particular food item, that before you can see any significant increase could be up to 4 months, 5 months, some of them even a year, especially when they are in season all round. But just like you said, the increases that we see these days are matter of hours. It doesn't even take days anymore. And the range of increases is astronomical in the sense that a particular product that you bought maybe 2,000 in the morning can be sold for 2,500 in the evening. And this is against market elasticity and demand and supply terms when it comes to willing buyer, willing seller. You discover that it makes planning, it makes projection very, very difficult. And this has eroded almost to the lowest level the purchasing power of Nigerians. Because just like we said, when this administration came into power in 2023, that is over a year ago, you discover that the price of rice, for example, was hovering between 50 to 50 something thousand. But that now has doubled when we have rice going for 100, 105. So you see, within a year, you discover that price of most agricultural products has doubled. And the government, despite all the interventions, have not been able to bring down the price. Yes, we are talking of food inflation reducing, but is it in tangent with reality? Reality still states that prices of food products are still rising. And statistically, depending on the data that is being gathered and the data that is being used, we hear that food inflation is reducing. But how? Because the prices continue to increase. You know, I was joking with my wife two days ago, and she was telling me that about 2 years ago, you that like to buy Titus, you buy roasted Titus and use it to drink garri. At that time, it's very easy. You buy it for 500 naira and you just get garri. I used to even put grinded pepper on it. But you cannot try that now, because one of it goes for between 2,500 to 3,000. So they have made things so difficult to the extent that households are now using different techniques to stay afloat, to stay alive. And it is becoming and getting out of hand. That even the new minimum wage is not going to make the situation to change. So when we talk about price control, we have Consumer Protection Agency in Nigeria. We have other agencies that should look into some of the unwholesome practices of marketers and ensure that they comply. You know, most of the time, consumer protection and the rest, they focus on the organized market settings like the supermarket and the food chains, where they leave the main market where over 80% of Nigerians patronize. How many Nigerians patronize supermarkets and all these food chains? They patronize the main market, and that is why there should be a structure to be able to ensure that there is no excessive profiteering when it comes to prices of food items in the market. And in this, we are also privileged, one way or the other, to have the Yaloja General of the Federation to be the son, the daughter of the present president. So she has unrestricted access to the president with adequate information on the realities on ground. And with that, it could go a long way to help us to be able to look for ways and means to fashion out a way, even if we are not enforcing price control, but in morality, it can be done in a way that the people will not be ripped off completely, because that is what we are seeing now.
Sometimes in May, the Federal House of Representatives, came up saying that the board in charge of price control in Nigeria have not been doing what they ought to do.
Yeah.
And then a probe was one lawmaker from, I think, the Labour Party there came up, I want to remember his name. The motion was sponsored by JC Onwa Kalusi. He's from Labour Party. He's representing Oshodi Solo from Lagos State. And then he said that it's quite, unacceptable for the prices, not knowing that things are actually going to, because this is long back in May 16 or 17 or thereabouts in the same year. Looking at it, from this motion moved on the floor of the Senate, we've not heard any positive result come out of it. We've not heard any update in relation to that. Is there something that maybe we have associations? We have, just like we have all farmers associations.
Yes.
We have, you mentioned the Yaloja of.
Yaloja
is there not something that from the area of these associations, what you think they can do in cushioning this effect?
There is a lot that they can do, but they also need government support and backing. Just like you mentioned the bill that was introduced by the House of Rep member, you discover that the National Assembly, that is expected to be for the people, have been sleeping on their responsibilities to the people, because these are issues that touch directly the welfare of the Nigerian populace that elected them into that position in the first place. And I believe that when they are elected, we call them House of Representatives. They are representing a particular constituency. I believe that the yearnings of those constituencies should be paramount in their mind. Even the senators that are representing different senatorial districts, I believe that their constituencies' welfare and well-being should be their paramount paramount concern. But you discover that when bills like this are placed on the House and even in the Senate, you discover that it fizzles out over time, because to me it is not of paramount concern to the people that we elected to represent us, because we have some issues that touch directly to the welfare of the people of Nigeria, like transportation that is aided by fuel price. Talk about food, that is food prices that are astronomical and is rising every day, and some others that touch directly at the welfare of the people. I believe that that should even be the main focus of our National Assembly members, to ensure that these things are done in conjunction with the executive arm of government, to see how these kind of issues can be ameliorated. Now, talking about that side, I do not want to talk much about what they have done in the past 1 year that they have been in the National Assembly, because it has not been encouraging. But when we look at the impact that the market associations, the farmers associations can have on ensuring that there is a semblance of price control, they have a long way to go, because each of all these market associations or the market leaders are elected by the people. They earn the respect of their people and they speak for their people. So, but they too, they are Nigerians just like every other person. And I believe that when they can call their people together, put a kind of arrangement, a structure on ground to ensure that there is no excessive profiteering. We know that some of these products, one way or the other, could be increasing in price. But we also know that some people are just excessively taking advantage of the situation. Because if, for example, you have bought a product for an X amount of in the market, and immediately you get to the market, you discover that it has gone up more than the projected amount of sales. Most of them increases it. They believe it's their gain, and not minding the fact that they bought it at a particular price to sell at a particular price range. So these are areas where the government can collaborate with these market leaders, the Yalojas, the heads of the markets, to see how we can put measures in place so that people will not be excessively profiteering on the products that they are selling. But this has not come to play. The only thing that I've seen the government do is to enforce closure of some supermarkets based on arbitrary increase in prices. But that is just a minute portion of market-facing commodities that is being sold in Nigeria. The main area of concentration should have been the markets, the various markets all over the country. And that is where we need the government and our so-called representatives to come in to be able to fashion out things. You know, most of these people in position of authority do not actually go to the market, and they send their whoever they send, and they do not have direct interaction with the people. So when the people are telling them what is happening, I believe that it behoves on them to listen, to be able to fashion out ways and means to ensure that these prices are brought to a level that is reasonable. I'm saying reasonable now because we know that the people too are buying at a price. But what we want to be discouraged is excessive profiteering, which is what is taking place presently.
Let's quickly go on the break. We'll return to bring you more details.
The Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria (ARCN) coordinates the activities of research institutes and is responsible for supervision, regulation, coordination of research activities and programs of higher institutions in Nigeria. And Professor Hamidou Shaributu, assumption as Executive Secretary of ARCN in April 2020, has solidified the transformation of agriculture in Nigeria through strategic and meaningful execution of research fundings for improvement of the agricultural sector. Since then, Professor Shaributu has operated as visionary captain by restoring the council's glory with the first ever agricultural television and radio station in Nigeria, with well-equipped studios parading state-of-the-art equipment.
The Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria also has a brand new electronic library to further promote research and visualizations of deep thoughts on agricultural development in Nigeria.
The museum, located in the Senator Abdullahi Adamu Center, is an agricultural museum saddled with the responsibility of keeping records of agricultural findings, discoveries, researches for continuity and history purposes.
ARCN,
promoting agriculture.
Welcome back. It's still the program Agric Economy on ARCN Television. Like what I told you earlier, we've been talking about price control so much, as you just said, by guest factors, mitigating, I'll say, making this happen. As we said, of course, so much, factors are there, from transportation to that's logistics to so many other factors. And let's hear from our guests what we'll be doing to, curb some of these issues so that we can see that our prices in the markets can remain at least for a few hours, if not days.
So there are so many factors that are affecting continuous increase in prices genuinely, like the fluctuating exchange rate is affecting the pricing because the exchange rate changes per second per hour, and what you are purchasing, because dollar plays a major part in almost everything Nigeria does. So when you are purchasing and the exchange rate when it was 1,580 per dollar in the morning, it could get to the evening and it could also increase to 1,600, for example. So it can affect the price. The second is the issue of logistics, which is majorly transportation and others. And we know that to drive transportation, you need crude, you need fuel. Is that diesel or PMS? And we know the price of PMS has gone up. So when we are factoring logistics, which transportation is a major aspect into it, you discover that legitimately price of goods can also increase. The third aspect of it is the challenges of getting products to the destination, to the markets. For example, we have challenges with good roads in some areas. We have challenges with insecurity in some areas. We also have challenges with even law enforcement agents in some areas. When we want to look at the issue of the good roads, a road that a trailer, for example, that is carrying tomato from the north, if it's very smooth, will take 6 hours. If the road is very bad, it takes 24 hours. When it's taking 24 hours, it spends more time on the road, spends more fuel, and also fatigue, which is added to the cost. Even maintenance. That is one. Two, insecurity. If the person that is bringing this product is afraid that it could be waylaid on the way and everything, it pays more for security. Probably bringing a soldier and to go alongside with the gun and every other thing. That is an added cost to logistics. The third one is even the activities of our law enforcement agents on the road. As you are moving a trailer, they are expecting you to drop something for them. So when you look at, for example, a trailer bringing tomatoes from Kano to Lagos, and he has seen like 150 checkpoints, and he has given them, let's even say 1,000 naira, for example. That is possible. That is one of the things that also affects the price. So all these things are hypothetically happen on the road. So challenges of exchange rate fluctuations, challenges of logistics, insecurity, transportation, all these combine together to also have effect on the price. And the last one, just like you had an encounter with the woman that was selling the flowers, logistically, we might say that it is not reasonable for them to project the price that they are going to get back to buy it in the market. But because an average businessman wants to be able to purchase a particular, if I'm purchasing 50 bags of rice, for example, I want to have the capacity to purchase that same 50 bags of rice or more when I go back to the market. That is why they factor the current going price of what, even if they had bought at the old price, they factor it into it. So that is factoring the current going price, which is unstable, also adds to the continuous increase in the food price. Going forward, the government needs to put the food down. The stakeholders, when I say stakeholders, I'm talking of the government, I'm talking of the farmers, I'm talking of the market associations, I'm even talking of the consumers. We need to come to a point of agreement. This the democracy, they say, is government of the people, for the people, and by the people. So, but the kind of democracy we see in this country is for government of some people, by some people, and for some people. And that is why we have the challenges that we have now. The government need to bring stakeholders and look at ways to tackle this, because it affects the fabric of the society. In continuous increment of food prices, for example, and other goods and services, is affecting the purchasing power and the livelihood of Nigerians. In fact, it is shortening the lifespan of Nigerians. When, for example, people that used to feed 3 times in a day now feed barely once in a day. People that used to eat a certain quantity of food are now reduced to a quarter of that. So it is affecting the longevity of Nigerians, it's affecting their lifespan, it's affecting their well-being and health. So it's a critical issue that should not be left unattended to. So that is why the government need to take the bull by the horn I'm not advocating that should be strict price control, but morally and structurally we can come to an agreement to ensure that prices are not just rising off the roof because people have the opportunity to put it.
Thank you so much for sharing yourself with us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, you've heard this. There is need for government to actually come in because just the private and business owners cannot do it alone. Not even the associations that are shaping what happens in the business world. We hope that the federal government is watching and listening to some of these opinions by our guests and is going to put that to use to the latter to ensure that life is more easier for the ordinary Nigerian. On this note, we say thank you for joining us on the program for this week. Don't forget to like our page on YouTube, on ARSN TV and radio, and watch the program. I remain Khadija Obuato and I will say bye for now.